A woman, seeing that there was no one around, took off all her clothes and went for a swim in the sea. Her boyfriend, waiting on the shore, couldn't wait long enough for her to return. What was eerie, though, was that in what seemed like just a brief moment, 20 years had passed. The next morning, a group of people arrived at the beach to swim. A young boy turned around and saw a woman floating beside him. Terrified, he quickly ran to the shore. Hearing his shouts, the group rushed over and pulled the woman from the water. Sadly, she had no vital signs. At that moment, Eddie ran over and realized that the woman was his girlfriend. All eyes turned to Eddie, as he was the most likely suspect. One of the men approached Eddie to ask him what had happened. Eddie explained the situation. Jack immediately suggested they should call the police, as this was something they could not handle on their own. However, when they tried to make a call, they discovered there was no signal on the beach. Just as the elderly lady was speaking, something strange happened again. She started to have difficulty breathing. She assumed it was just the heat affecting her and decided to lie down and rest. But when Jack checked on her, he found that she had stopped breathing. Tony rushed to find medical help, but as soon as he entered a nearby cave, he began feeling dizzy. When he woke up, he found himself back on the beach again. Then, another bizarre occurrence happened. The young boy who had been playing on the beach earlier was now suddenly a teenager. His mother was shocked, not understanding what had just occurred. When the girl's father walked over and saw how much taller his daughter had become, he was equally stunned and speechless. Seeing all these strange things unfold, Eddie suddenly realized why he had been suffering from constant nosebleeds. In a panic, he turned and ran, trying to escape the strange events. Jack, thinking Eddie might be behind everything, immediately chased after him. However, when they reached the entrance of the cave, they both started feeling dizzy. When they regained consciousness, they found themselves back on the beach once again. But now, the only exit, the cave, was blocked. It was the only way out, but it was now completely inaccessible. At this point, everyone was gripped with fear. They couldn't understand why so many bizarre things were happening. The very fabric of time and reality seemed to be twisting around them. People were aging rapidly. Others had vanished or seemingly disappeared, and they couldn't find any answers. Why were these strange events happening? What was causing them to be trapped in this reality? Were they stuck in some sort of time loop or alternate dimension? The group realized that they had no clear way to escape, no way to make sense of the phenomenon they were trapped in. They started to panic, unsure of what to do next. Could they find another way out? Or was the only escape through the mysterious cave, which now seemed like an even greater enigma?